Maybe if there's a person that comes to mind, think of that person. Now think of you both kneeling in front of Jesus in his power and glory. In fact, John, he wrote the last book of the Bible. He gives us a vision of what this might be like. He gives a vision of Jesus. He says it's like this. His eyes are like a flame of fire. His feet were like flaming bronze refined in a furnace. His voice was like the roar of many waters. His face is like the sun shining in full strength. And you realize it's holy love. Here is this amazing king who's died for you, and you are giving an account. At that moment, are you going to be fussing that your neighbor was mowing the lawn on Saturday morning? When you think Saturday morning should be a holy day? That he was mowing his lawn Sunday afternoon, and doesn't he know that Sunday is Sabbath, the Lord's Day? Or, he's so uptight, he can't enjoy a nice craft beer. God, could you sort him out? Or, do you know the problems that come with alcoholism? And how dare he, as a Christian, be drinking beer? I can't believe I saw beer in his fridge. Is that the moment we're going to start squabbling about secondary things? Their worship music style is not my liking. Or this church, but Jesus, I want your body that was down the road, and they didn't call me back after 3 weeks. I just couldn't go back. Are you going to be saying those things then? No. You won't. So why should we be saying them now? But you will give an account to Jesus. He's very interested in how you've treated him, he's going to say, you're forgiven, I love you, but how? And that, it won't work then to say, oh, this opinions, convictions, it didn't really matter, I'm not really into that. When Jesus is looking at you with his face shining like the sun in full strength, it will be very silly to say, oh, this didn't really apply to me. Oh, this does apply to me. This profoundly applies to me, and how I live in honor of him suddenly is really the only thing that's relevant. And you know what? We're working on that account that you're going to give to Jesus. You're working on that right now. This week ahead. And if there's things that you might want to change, if that day was coming tomorrow, how about working on it right now? This is the time. And one practical application is don't judge your brother. Don't be critical. Don't be fussy about other opinions Christians hold. They're going to answer to God for them. They're going to answer to the God who died for them, who forgave them. You, us, me. We need to worry about our relationship with God. See how the gospel, it tells us opinions matter, but that we don't need to judge those who have different opinions. And this is wonderfully liberating, isn't it? What we think, how we live really, really matter, but we don't have to be fussy and critical of those who see things different. So it tells us to welcome, it tells us how to have opinions, and then tells us where our unity is. Because still is a challenge. How do we practically live in unity? We still have these different convictions. And here, Paul says our unity is, it's in God's kingdom, which is deeper than the things we're eating or some of the externals. Look how Paul says, look at verse 14. He says, I know and persuaded in the Lord Jesus that nothing is unclean. And this is why he calls the strong. They've actually got the right position. Because that is the better conclusion, that we can eat anything, because Jesus really did declare all things clean. So they are doctrinally right. And Paul says, that's why he calls them the strong. They've got a better understanding of faith. They can enjoy and eat everything. But Paul says, so I'm persuaded, I'm with them, but if they use their strength to cause grief to their brother who hasn't quite gotten there, they're not walking in love, and they're breaking the deeper unity. This is the problem. This is the problem in life together. It's not that one person is wrong, one person's right. It's that we're right. This person is right, but they're wrong because they're not acting in love. They're not enjoying the real reality of the kingdom God brought. And it's interesting. God did not die for us so that we would all eat a certain kind of food, which might seem obvious, but you know that every religion has food laws. Except Christianity. I think just about every religion. Food laws are almost every religious movement has some kind of food laws. And wouldn't we say that our American culture, we have food laws too? That come and go and change, and trans fats and gluten and high fructose corn syrup, right? And our laws separate us into groups. right? I bet I could find certain groups that if you eat